I started, I guess, officially in 1980. So 36 years.
So you started when you were 40. That's amazing.
You're funny. Don't waste it. We have a show.
I started acting when I was 8, but sort of officially got into improv probably around when I was 22. So.
Still waiting to get into comedy.
Am I?
Yeah.
Quid pro quo.
Do you guys have any comedic inspirations?
She's so timid when she asks.
Sorry.
It's like she's trying
It's a
to
trap. It's a trap.
It's like she's trying to feed a bear.
I think we have many of the same ones, actually. I mean, I was a fan of, not that I was alive during the time, but silent movie guys like Charlie Chaplin, Buster Keaton.
Harold Lloyd.
Yeah. And when, growing up, I feel like I was watching an awful lot of television. So, Don Knotts was someone, Harvey Korman and Tim Conway.
Mm-hmm.
The Monty Python guys, Jonathan Winters.
Martin Lewis.
Yeah, a lot of, and yeah, anyone,
Three Stooges.
Dick Van Dyke. Anyone who made me laugh, I would kind of
Jackie Gleason.
watch
Art
it steal.
Carney.
These are all people from the past, the
Yeah.
far past.
We might as well talk about Washington and John Quincy Adams.
Yeah, although they weren't as funny as people
No,
thought.
no. Washington had a good 5-minute comedy set.
It was all about a cherry tree.
Yeah.
I know your show is very fast-paced. Are there any secrets to maintaining and finding good content to just kind of stay out of the loop?
Yes, and it's a secret. Good answer.
No, that is a good answer, because then you don't have to really say anything. Basically, the secret is being relaxed enough that when you're out on stage, you're just ready for anything that comes your way. Like, we go out with that, we have a set list of the games we're going to play, and that's basically all we know. We don't know what we're getting from the audience. We don't, but we're just kind of relaxed enough to know that we're going to play off each other, and somehow it works.
Yeah. And hopefully our medications work at
Yeah,
the right
because
moment.
We've got it down pretty good now.
Stuff that wakes us up, stuff that makes us antipsychotic, and one keeps you from drooling, I believe.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, you don't know I give you that pill.
Thanks.
Well, it's actually a suppository.
You are
sleeping.
really blowing your wad right now.
Really?
You'll have
Term you wanna
nothing
use?
funny to say. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm edgy.
I have a bill for that too.
Oh, do you? Okay, I'll take that.
This is kind of 2 questions in one, but how long have you two been kind of working together, and are there secrets to maintaining a good relationship when you're out on the road?
We've been doing our show together, just our 2-man version, for 13 years. And of course, we had all the years on the cruise line before that, working together. There are no secrets to us working together and getting along, because I think we're just lucky that we do. I think a lot of creative people and people that have to tour together, like bands notoriously fall apart, and they fall apart because they go on tour. And we just get along. He's super easygoing. I'm the overfunctioner, so I deal with alienating the crew and getting stuff done, and he just kind of goes with the flow. But we have a lot in common, so we have a lot complementary, but our overall work partnership works because I sort of steer all the garbage that we have to deal with as far as tech and sound and all that. And but yeah, the stuff we find funny is the same. And
Yeah, we've never had any creative differences, which I think that's a reason probably many bands and other groups break up.
we say that in a lot of interviews. I hope this isn't like a pending iceberg that we're now
I
going to
do
run
have
into.
something to talk to you about once this is over.
His wife April Fools me the other day, so I'm still a little bitter.
You really are. Let it go, man. Let it go. That was so good.
Last time you guys were here was actually on April Fool's Day too.
What?
Mhm.
Was it?
I looked at that.
So we come back very close to it.
Anything that has a fool in it, we're there.
nice to know that we're here cyclically in a very similar time of year. Interesting to me, anyway.
I know you talked a bit about it, but do you have, or did you do any performing in high school or college? Maybe take a few classes on it. I know there's many classes.
Well, there are now. I mean, there's more improv involved in, most kids grow up now knowing about improv and get in an improv group, or drama classes have improv workshops, and a lot of colleges have it in, teams and such. So now it's kind of part of creative curriculum in drama and things. But when we were growing up, there was really nothing. The only improv that kind of existed was in Second City after their regular show, which was a bunch of sketches and parodies and stuff. They would do a late night improv set, but what they were doing is they were taking a scene idea that they had that they were trying to flesh out and kind of running it every night to take it and see where it would go. So they were kind of using it as a writing tool. So sometimes that improv set was great and fun to watch, and other times it was just like a laboratory experiment. And other than that, the only real thing that you could find out about improv was watching an old comic named Jonathan Winters, who sort of made it a performance art form. He would sort of do like these monologues on variety shows where someone would ask him a question and he would be the character and just sort of start riffing. He'd just speak in the voice of the character and then just go randomly off. Kind of the way Robin Williams did as well. And Robin Williams attributes his whole sort of early start to Jonathan Winters as well, because he would just kind of riff in character and just go off on tangents, but it was always creative because it was just from this clever voice. That's it. That was like the only thing you could actually see that was improvised on television.
I can guarantee when we were growing up, no one ever said, I want to be an improviser when I grow up. Because there was no such thing.
His job did not exist. To actually make a living doing live improv anywhere, we're still like 2 of 6 people that actually kind of do this for a living, so in the future. But we now have generations of kids who've grown up from age 8 knowing what improv is and taking it in school and this and that. So there will be a super generation of amazing improvisers that hopefully will still love us enough to give us work when they start producing television shows.
We'll be gone.
You think so?
Yeah.
Used to be.
Hope not.
We can only last so long. We all have to go.
That's true.
I don't mean to bring us down.
I don't know, technology's advancing.
Oh, it's true.
I don't know.
Better pick up the pace.
We'll put you in a robotic exoskeleton.
Sweet. Nothing funnier.
Yeah. You can use your eyes to look at the keyboard to write your sentences like Stephen Hawking.
That'll just keep things scrolling along.
Where are you going, Jerry?
I am
going to the store.
Short.
What are you trying to say? I just have something in my eye.
We have a sketch to send somebody.
Send it to Second City, they can flesh it out.
Do you like touring more than performing on stage? There's kind of new crowd, new environment, different element to it. So I think is that beneficial at all to acts?
I'm not sure what that question was. Sort of
Sorry.
chase yourself around.
Sorry.
Give it a second try. This time do it with a Swedish accent.
I love that panic in the eye.
Give you a stroke.
I'll just shorten it. Do you like touring?
Should be
more
great to
than
fill
performing?
in.
Yes. The travel part of it
Yes.
tends to suck, I would say. It's constantly dealing with flights and TSA, all the unpleasant things about traveling. But the shows, I think, is still our favorite thing. We get to, we're starting to go around the world now. We were just in India. And as you say, every audience is different, so it keeps it exciting for us because every show is different. We never get bored with doing this because it's never the same, so we never get into a rut or just wish it was over.
Yeah, there's no monotony in the performance because we have sort of opening night jitters every time we perform because you don't know what's going to happen. Do we know that we'll be able to handle it? Yes. And have we written out the list of the 7 or 8 things that we're going to do in the show? Like we know we're going to play sound effects. We know we're going to play this menu of games tonight, and that changes. But you always have that excitement, that sort of adrenaline of jumping out of an airplane intellectually when you do an improv show and when you are a purist and you actually do improv. I think a lot of people sort of hold on to little characters or bits as a sort of a safety valve. But if you truly embrace the idea of improv, you should be able to do it without a safety valve. Even the way we now get suggestions, we've sort of taken away any control we had in how we get suggestions, because we wrote up a bunch of vague ways to ask for things on cards, and then we sort of fan them out and have an audience person randomly pick one of the cards, and then that's how we get our suggestion. So we don't know whether we're going to be asking for some unusual thing, and then all the multitude of ways that an audience could answer that. So we don't fall in love with like a lot of groups, and in our early days we did too. When we would play sound effects game, we would always ask for a dangerous occupation, or something that had like tools and guns, because we thought, oh, that's what's going to make this game have lots of noise and work. And now we don't even ask for something that's an occupation. It could be as obtuse says, you are in A, with A, while A, and they fill in those 3 blanks. And it kind of goes counter to that part of every person that wants to maintain a little bit of control and hedge your bets so that you have a successful outcome. That's the hardest part about improv, I think, is to constantly keep cleansing yourself of wanting to be safe.
Yeah.
And it goes counter to everything else you do in life, which is repetition for